Now, there are certain universal reasons to become a non-smoker. And these reasons affect to some degree just about everyone who is ready to become a non-smoker. Because you are listening to this, you must be at least open to the idea that you are becoming ready to move beyond the cigarette habit. You may already be thinking of some of the reasons to quit smoking. And it's interesting how health can be affected by cigarettes. If you just think about lighting a cigarette, you can develop a deeper understanding of how the poisons can damage your body. And just imagine putting the cigarette to your lips. Think of striking the lighter and touching the flame to the end of that cigarette. Now, before we think about the first inhalation, stop and consider that this one cigarette is only one of 20 in its pack, and that pack is only one of 10 in a carton. It's interesting to stop and consider just how many cigarettes you have taken through this lighting ritual. How many hundreds or thousands of cartons? How many thousands or tens of thousands of packs have been picked through to get to this point when you just have the end of that still, unsmoked cigarette just as the lighter touches it? How many individual cigarettes have you brought to this point just before it lights? We never stop and think what chemicals are about to vaporize and be drawn through our brown and malodorous teeth. Realistically, how often do you think of the tar-laden, poisonous smoke being brought into your lungs? Your lungs are literally laced with tar. And it's laced with tar faster than your body can move it out. If you take a deep breath and focus on the feelings in your chest, can you feel the tar lining restricting your lungs and their natural elasticity? If you want to look deeper, think of the ammonia and the benzene, along with another 4,000 or more chemicals that tap directly into your bloodstream. And think of how they circulate to each individual cell of your body. Can you imagine being the letdown for your family because cigarettes made you too sickly or just too feeble to be involved with the ones you love? No. If I were to think of that every time I struck a lighter and put it to the end of a cigarette, I might just let the fire go out and put the lighter down. And it's interesting that health isn't the only reason you will stop and think if you have a cigarette in your hand. Just think about how it looks when you grab a cigarette. Just by grabbing that cigarette, just by having that cigarette in your fingers, you are instantly judged. And even if you're not concerned, that people assume instantly that you must be irresponsible because of cigarettes. Just the idea of seeing you grab a cigarette makes people instantly think that everything about you, your clothes, your fingers, your breath, your car, your house, they think that everything about you stinks because of cigarettes. And even if you don't care about their opinion, you still have to go to a designated area. Just by putting that cigarette in your hand, you are forced outside. You're surrounded by stale ashtray smells and disgusting, discarded, used cigarette butts. And the weather can be nasty. You can be dealing with brutal heat, or you may even deal with bone-chilling rain and winds. Just by grabbing that cigarette places you instantly in that area, with people who smell foul, people who just cough a lot. And they don't just cough, they hack. They hack things out of their lungs and gag on them. That cigarette in your hands means that disgusting, tar-hacking people in uncomfortable, filth-ridden, designated areas are in your surroundings. And some of these designated areas are near trash containers. You are familiar with this idea. Think of some of the most disgusting or the most repugnant places that you've been, simply because you wanted to hold a cigarette. And can you imagine how much better you will feel when you finally just walk away? Imagine the relief and the satisfaction of putting down the cigarettes and just walking away from them. You would never be in a putrid smoke area. Non-smokers can move around more freely, and non-smokers go where there is much more comfort. As a non-smoker, you will breathe just a sigh of relief after you realize that because you put cigarettes down, and because you decided to become a non-smoker, you can now be more comfortable and relaxed. And this is a certain feeling of freedom when you become a non-smoker. You are free from the daily habits and worries, all related to cigarettes. You are free to enjoy your free time in more comfortable places. You are even free of the foul smell and the stale smoke. So now that you put your cigarettes down and walked away, you can find yourself feeling and becoming healthier. Many people consider their loved ones as their biggest motivation to remain a non-smoker. As a non-smoker, you will find your overall health is improving. It's interesting to recognize how much better life is as a non-smoker. Quality of life increases in every way. You are emotionally and physically healthier. Now, just take a deep breath and enjoy this positive feeling of breathing clean and refreshing air.